What is up, fellow Star Wars fans? Welcome back to the channel. Today in the house, I have an oldie and hopefully a goodie. This is the Sideshow Collectibles Commander Bacara, part of their Militaries of Star Wars collectibles that they released. They were dropping a whole bunch of clone troopers back in the day. I've already done a review on the Captain Rex a few weeks back, and I'm going to be doing some reviews on Commander Wolf. I got the ARC Trooper Echo, and hopefully I'll find ARC Trooper 5s at some point. I'm definitely hunting that one. Those are two of my favorites that I'm trying to get down. So if you know where that one is, please hit me up, other than on eBay. I really don't want to pay eBay prices. But I found these guys over at Slap Happy Toys. We first ran into Jeff and Slap Happy Toys over at Toylando, and he's a super cool dude. We hooked up with him again over at the Tampa Toy Convention. Get my tongue tied. At the Tampa Toy Convention. And he is an awesome guy. I like Jeff. You can catch up with him at all of the different conventions that we have here in Florida. And you can also catch him on Facebook and on Instagram at slap.happytoys. You can hit him up, and Jeff responds pretty quickly. And he has pretty decent pricing on his figures, so that's why I keep on buying from him. So cool stuff. This guy right here is the commander of the 21st Nova Corps, if you guys didn't already know. And if you guys didn't know this one, this is a really cool one. His name is Commander Bacara, but his designation number is 1138, which coincides with George Lucas's first movie, THX 1138, released in 1971. So that's a good tidbit of information. If you already knew that, then you, my friend, are a Star Wars geek. And if you didn't already know that, well, now you know. So back in the day, Sideshow made two versions of these. This one here is the exclusive edition, which comes with a base and has the symbol of the 21st Nova Corps. They only made 1,000 of those like that. And then they had the regular base version, which is just the black one that says Star Wars on the base, and they made 5,000 of those. They ran $134.99. Right now, you can find it on eBay, where people are asking anywhere from like $350 to $500, depending on the condition of the box and the condition of the figure, if it's ever been displayed or anything like that. But what I noticed as far as closed sales go is it sells for right around $350. So if you're looking to pick them up, figure you're going to spend about that. All right, that's all the information I have on him right now. Let's get him out of the box and see all the accessories it comes with. All right, and here's the two layers as it comes inside of the box. I want to state when I start off this video, I just want to apologize for the clarity of the video. I'm doing my best with the camera I have. I have another one on order and should be here soon if Sony just gets off their butt and ships it out. So once that comes in, I'll have a much better camera for auto-focusing and getting you guys some nice close details on everything. For now, you're just gonna have to deal with my manual focusing until I get that camera in hand. So let's go over all the accessories that come in here. Start off with the first layer, all right? Set it up like that. So first off, you have the DC-15A rifle. And get your little focus there. There we go. All right. So here's your DC-15A rifle. This is the rifle that he used to kill Ki-Adi-Mundi in Revenge of the Sith. He's one of the other clone troopers that got a little screenplay in Revenge of the Sith. So if you remember that scene, he got the better of Ki-Adi-Mundi. And this is the rifle that he used to kill him with. So again, nice details. A lot of the clones come with this rifle, and they did a nice job on the details with this one. Let me see if I can get you guys a little more closer and a little more focused. Focus, there we go. All right, so you can see all the details that come with this weapon. Nice job. All right, next up, you got the DC-15S Blaster Carbine. Again, another weapon that comes with a lot of the clones. I haven't seen too many of these that don't come with it, that don't come with them. So nice details on the grips and everything. This part here articulates. On this one here, it feels a little loose though, so that kind of blows. I'm gonna try to have to see if there's a way to hold it on stronger, but I don't know if I'm gonna display it with this gun because, you know, he was seen with the other weapon. Got a nice blaster port right there where the barrel is. That's cool. So nice details on that. And then you also get the DC-17 blaster like Captain Rex. So you get that as well. Also, again, nice details on the gun. You can see they did some weathering on it. So nice look to that. Just like with the Captain Rex Sideshow figure, you get a couple of feet like this so that you're able to display him looking like he's running, or, you know, in the midst of battle. They did some nice weathering on the bottom of the boots. And the same thing on the top. The folds and everything look pretty good. This part here doesn't really articulate all that much, so you really don't have a lot of motion there with the pegs. And you get one for each foot. All right, you get some hands, you know, for different types of commands. You got the peace sign hands, or you know, maybe like commanding 2 fingers. All right, so you got that. You got a single pointing finger. Okay. You got one like that where the 2 fingers are together. One thing I do like about the Sideshow figures over the Hot Toys ones is you have a lot of different options for the hands, for different gestures. I hope that they give us a little bit more with Captain Rex when they release Captain Rex finally. You got the other option for the opposite hand for thumbs up. Got a hand like that. Loose grip hand to hold the rifle, I guess. Same for the opposite side. And then you have a couple of straight hands like that. Completely straight. And another one for the opposite side as well. Okay. In the other container is the figure itself, and then you have the trigger hands. So you have one for each side. Another trigger hand right there. Cool. And then you have the figure itself and the base. So let's get the figure out. There we go. And then this is the special edition exclusive base that you get with this style of figure. Looks like it's never been opened, so cool. I'm not a big fan of using bases, but that's what it looks like. So you have the logo of the 21st Nova Corps, and you can see it's the CC 1138, which is cool. Clone Commander 1138, really dope. And you got the Republic logo there, and you have the symbol behind it. So the exclusives come with this white base. Not a real big fan of the exclusive things for this. I think it really doesn't matter too much if you get the exclusive or if you get the regular version. You know, it's just a matter if you really want that base or not. All right, and here is a close-up of Commander Bacara. You can see the helmet has got really nice weathering and details on it. All the scuffing and wear on it. It's pretty nice. And I like the uniqueness of this helmet because it has this cover over the regular clone helmet. You have a little bit of articulation. You got back and forth and forward. So you have some articulation right there. It does feel a little loose, but not too bad. Definitely not as bad as it was with Rex. You can check out the armor. It's got some strappings there and everything. This here is a like a leatherish material. And then you have plastic parts for the armor. Again, with scuffing and wear and all that. So not bad. Looks pretty cool. All right. For the arms have a feels like a little joint right here. Not really a joint, but like a part where it connects, so that it can lift up, and you're able to move the arms out about that far, so you can get that kind of reach. Pull back a little bit here so you can see the whole figure. All right. So you get about that kind of reach in the arms. Again, it doesn't feel as tight as a Hot Toy. This feels kind of on the loose side. So it's just, I guess it's something of Sideshow stuff. All right, so that's about as far back as the arm can go. Sideshow's joints aren't the best. You get about that far back with the joint here on the elbow, so you can get about yay far. Not a whole lot of articulation in the wrists. The wrists kind of feel like they're more or less just stuck where you're at. So you don't have a lot of articulation there in the wrist at all. See the opposite side if it's any different. You can go about that far back with the elbow, and it's about the same thing with the wrist. You don't really feel like there's a whole lot of articulation in the wrist at all. So, boo Sideshow for that. All right, Then you have your articulation in the chest area. You have movement above this stomach area, above that area. That's where you got movement at. You got a little bit of movement to go left and right. Not so much forward and back. It's about as far as you can go with this figure. Okay. Nice details on the belt and everything. So that looks cool. All of this is mixed media here. And you got plastic parts and plastic buckle right there, which is cool. All right. The legs can go about that far out. Go back in this way. You go about that far forward with the thigh. And about that far back. So not too far back, but you can go pretty far forward. Okay. Again, it doesn't feel as loose as it was with Captain Rex, but it doesn't feel tight either. I don't like that you don't have those clicking joints like you do with Hot Toys, so that you're able to get that nice feeling that this isn't going to stand without even the base. But it is what it is. Details on the back of the, I guess, sash, I guess we're going to call this. So it's red and it's got these, I guess these are supposed to be stains. I'm not going to say what that looks like, but it definitely doesn't look like dirt. that doesn't come off all that well, in my opinion. Kind of wish they would have just left it clean if they were going to do it that way. But yeah, so that's what that looks like. All right. And then you have about that much range in the knee. Okay. It does turn a little bit, but that's about it. And then in the foot, you don't really have a whole lot of articulation in the foot either. It's kind of like there. It's where it's going to be, and it ain't really moving all that much. It has a little click there to go forward, but yeah, that's what that is. All right, let's see if I can get this guy in some poses without the base, and then if I have to use the base, we'll use the base. But let's see what I can do. All right, there's pose number one, the Ki Adimundi killing pose, like you saw him in Revenge of the Sith. Just like with Captain Rex, the joints are not strong enough for the figure to hold up without the stand, even with a straight up standing pose. I know right now you're noticing that I have it here with the foot kind of angled like that, but initially I just had him posed standing straight up, and it was difficult. I couldn't get him to stay still. He almost always wanted to tip over. So it's just not something that can be done, it seems, with the Sideshow figures. You got to use the stand for these guys. But otherwise, I think it's still a pretty cool looking figure, unique figure to have because of the sash, the way that it is, that maroonish color that it's got going on there. And then of course the way the helmet is designed, it has kind of like that snow trooper type of vibe to it. So I'm digging it. All right, let's see what else we can put him into. All right, here we go, pose number two. Kind of another more stoic, static pose that I got going on here. He does display well with the base. I got to give it that, because since it was kind of like a snow looking planet that he was on at the end, the white base kind of works. Maybe even if you cover it with something to hide the base a little bit, you could probably make it work to look like it's not standing or being hooked onto a base. The rifle here, like I was showing you when I did the unboxing, it does fall down. I actually had to play with it a little bit to keep it from stand up the way that it is. One thing I will say that's really cool about the Sideshow versions versus the Hot Toys is that they gave you a lot of options for hands. So the hands actually grip the guns better when it comes to holding the weapons in different types of ways, like I have right here with the rifle being held the way it's being held. Really like the detail on the armor. I think the armor looks pretty damn cool. And I'm just, having fun with it. I want to see if I can get something a little more dynamic though, just to have some, even more fun with this. So let me see what I can do. All right, there goes a more fun pose. So it looks like he's kind of like falling back, or maybe even running forward, shooting his pistol. Digging that. I like how I was able to get the sash on the back to kind of fold a little bit. I wish they had a little wiring in it so you can have some posability to it. He kind of balances pretty well on that on the ball huggers right there. So it holds pretty well. I'm digging it. I like this pose actually. I'm gonna try one more dynamic pose and then I'll give you my final thoughts on this one. But right now I'm digging this. I like how he's coming out. I like that he looks different than the other clones. And yeah, he's pretty cool. Maybe next one I'll throw in there. I'll probably do it with another figure so you can see how he looks stacked up next to a different clone trooper. So let's see how that looks. All right, there we go. Final pose with the group. Digging it. I like that I'm able to get him in that kind of stance. Looks like he's coming down off a step or something like that. Got the other clones around him, so he fits right in with the other 6 scale clones. That, of course, is the Sideshow Captain Rex, and the one behind it is the Hot Toys Clone Trooper, the 501st Clone Trooper. Overall, I think it's a really good figure. I like him as far as posing better than Captain Rex goes. I also like the material of his sash better than what Captain Rex has. The material I feel is a little more, I don't know, quality. I don't like the paint job they did on the weathering, but I like the way the material feels. Also, with the smaller pauldron on the right side, it's a little easier to get more head poses than you can with Captain Rex. So you know, you have that as well. And I like the unique detail of his armor versus the other clones. It looks very different than the other clones do. So that's a plus as well. Overall, I think it's a pretty good buy if you can get it. You get your hands on it, especially one that the joints are not maybe as loose. Would be even better. That's the only downside I could say about any of these Sideshow figures. Their joints on the figures are very, very loose. And it makes it very difficult to pose outside of using the display base. So if you're like me that likes to use no base, it doesn't want to use the base at all, you know, it makes it hard to use these figures, you know, in your scenes. So that's it, really. That's my thoughts on the Bacara, the Commander Bacara figure from Sideshow. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below on this figure. And until next time, may the Force be with you.